Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. OpTic Scrims officially back underway last night. Pred straight of a 16-hour flight, straight to the Hex quarters, straight back into practice. But Coach Karma talking in quite some detail exactly what went on behind the scenes to make this happen, why Pred, he believes, is a better longer-term option than Huke for the roster, and the difficulties they're going to have getting back up to speed quickly going into the upcoming weekend of qualifiers. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Gonna start with a few roster things as well, because there's actually quite a lot happening right now. So Hamza Frosty, presumably used to be now the, Falcons Academy member. I actually thought for some time he might even get an opportunity on their starting team. Seemingly that's not going to happen. He's formed a new team alongside the ex-Stallions team when Zuma dropped them on their necks. And, the Stallions guys are gone. Encourage used to be there. He was then dropped. Zuma wasn't happy with that. He decided to drop the team. So, that's going to be Hamza Encourage +2, as we mentioned. Pretty interesting to see Trakes here. Now, this guy, I don't know if that's exactly how you pronounce it, but he has won a number of the Challengers Cups in Latin America, right? And he's an Argentinian prospect who's recently got to the States. So that's pretty interesting, kind of exciting, one to keep your eyes on. The other big story is that we are expecting today Vancouver Surge to confirm that Neptune is now into the starting team. Of course, very interesting that Huke isn't. You know, they could have got Huke. It was a possibility, given that he was available. He was available before, presumably they got everything done here. 04 seemingly wanted Huke back. Maybe Rambo didn't. Who knows? But, pretty funny on the prize picks here. For the upcoming weekend, they play, FaZe. So, I guess good luck with that one on the Friday. But the team is 04, Abuzah, Nastie, and Neptune. It's just straight up here. So, I don't think there's any doubt, really, that Neptune is going to be joining that roster. Is this a good move? We'll probably discuss it in more detail when it is officially confirmed. But yeah, the decision to get Neptune over Huke as an option is maybe telling from a few different perspectives in terms of the fact that maybe Surge don't want to go back there, Rambo doesn't want to go back there, and also just the general idea of Huke not exactly waltzing into another team immediately after departing OpTic. He will get another team. He will be back in the CDL before the end of the season. I would be absolutely shocked if not. There was some talk yesterday though, because this was tweeted out. Huke encourage DTG and Hamza. Now rumors that was going to be the team, but of course, as we just mentioned, the team it seems is Hamza encourage Ryan and Trakes. So Huke is not on this team. And I know there was lots of talk about this tweet on the Reddit because people were saying, I can't believe Huke's back in challenges and not into a pro team. But as Slayer says, knows a lot about this, says, that's not going to be a team probably. To my knowledge, Huke is not in challenges. So I guess we'll see how it goes. There have been teams linked to Huke. That will probably continue. But I think there is a bit of a surprise just because it was only a couple of days after the major, really, when OpTic were making the call to get rid of Huke. There have been other teams who you might have thought could have been scrambling a little bit to make this happen, right? Even a team like Cloud9, for example, I'm not sure it would be the best idea, but they could get Huke, put one of their players to the flex, figure something out with the ARs. It's not an impossibility. Maybe the teams don't want to take the risk right now, but in the same way that Huke was passed up, or at least Minnesota Rocker could have signed Huke in the offseason, they didn't decide to, and therefore it was possible for OpTic to get him completely for free. And sure, did it work out on OpTic? No. Did Huke play well though? Is he very good at this game? Absolutely yes. And again, in 8s, this guy's always absolutely cooking, but we know that in that kind of unstructured style of COD, Huke absolutely thrives. And maybe there's a few teams out there that just aren't 100% sure they want to commit to it quite as of yet. Methods was talking about it and saying that, Kyler's going to be on a good team. He'll be appalled if he doesn't. So I think he is going to get a roster. I just wonder when, because, it's only a couple of days away from the qualifiers. But equally, only Falcons and Surge have made a change thus far. But I'm sure that teams like, Rocker or Gentlemates or Cloud9, if they have a bad week or two of qualifiers, because, you know, let's not forget here, the major is towards the end of March. We have 4 weeks of qualifiers, whatever it is, with a minor slapped in the middle of it again here in the Major 2 run. So there's plenty of time, plenty of opportunity for these teams to say, all right, you know what, our team did okay at the major, let's give it 1, maybe 2 more weeks of qualifiers, maybe even give it to the minor. And if that isn't working out, then we're going to blow it up, then we're going to make the change. But again, there could be teams out there that might regret not getting Huke if somebody else goes ahead and signs him right about now. But equally, there are maybe reasons why teams aren't, you know, chomping at the bit to sign Huke as highly as he gets rated from the fan perspective. And I do totally get that. You know, the pro teams are a bit wary about him fitting into their system. That's just my feeling. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's going to get signed today. We'll see. Enjoy your thoughts in the comments below. But let's talk his replacement. Pred is back into the team. Here he is as of yesterday, turning up to the Hex quarters. I know he's on the phone too, but he walks in right here and obviously gives a little bit of a piece to camera here saying back in business and all this. Straight of a flight out of Australia, turns up back in Dallas and is straight into practice. And to be fair, they need him to be because OpTic are behind. There's absolutely no doubt about it. As he says, 16-hour flight straight into scrims. And that's what we saw later in the day as well. Now, we didn't actually get to see any of this, which is kind of interesting for a couple of reasons, because you guys remember when Shotzzy was talking all this about, you know, streaming practice, the importance of it for the community, for the content and all that. And look, I don't really mind either way. The pros can stream the practice. I'd prefer them to stream it. I understand why they don't and won't necessarily. But, you know, in fairness, when OpTic was saying a lot about, well, you know, streaming practice is obviously going to be good for the scene, and then Pred comes back and they decide not to stream their first day of scrims, there's obviously going to be a bit of talk about it because people really wanted to watch. But I totally understand with Pred back in, they want to ease back in a little bit to the scrims. I think they will probably stream them again at some point. That's my feeling. For now, they might even scrim them or stream them today. But more than likely, they might take a little bit of a break from that. And that's certainly what Karma seemed to imply on stream last night. But they do have a lot of ground to make up, right? Because, you know, in an ideal world, Pred would never have left in the first place. Because, okay, they lost to Boston at the start of the season, but it turns out Boston are actually quite good. They then 3-0'd Cloud9 with Pred. Pred had a good series there. And then they dropped him, right? So, like, you know, he hasn't played the game in some time. Certainly with the changes to the game and understanding everything about how to play the game with the team, that will take a bit of time to get back into gear of. And equally, FaZe look really good, and OpTic's first game of the weekend is FaZe. So that's why they need to get, you know, they need to get sorted very swiftly indeed. Now, Karma, the coach of the team, kind of opens up on this last night, pretty much for the first time, really, discussing why they've made this move compared to, you know, keeping Huke. I know there was some out there that would say, drop Kenny, keep Huke in and get Pred, but, you know, like, I don't think that would be a great idea. The reality is, as Karma says, Pred's a shooter, right? The guy shoots straight. The issue is, it's about getting the team onto the same page again. I think what's interesting about this clip is he says that even after playing with Huke for some time, from, you know, December through to January and everything that happened there, and then of course going to the major and concluding pretty much at the start of February, they were not fully on the same page in various ways. And, you know, when that is the case, it's always a bit of a buzzword, isn't it? Oh, we weren't on the same page, because it kind of looked like they were on the same page online, but I don't know, in terms of approach to the game and other things like that, they were not 100% happy with the way that they were approaching things. That's always going to be the case with various teams, but of course they know what it was like with Pred, so they know that they can get back there. At least they believe they can get back there. So that's what Karma says, that in the longer term, Pred's going to be a better option than Huke. He's going to be more consistent over the grand scheme of things. Pred bringing him back makes more sense in the circumstances, assuming that some of the out game stuff doesn't continue to bite them in some capacity. And then, you know, the issues with Pred, though, are still there because they've got a lot to work on over the next couple of days. And as he says, we worked with Huke pretty well. We got to a decent level, but not where we wanted to get to. With Pred, we've now got to kind of go back to square one and start the process again. I
mean, I even told it, like, aG's a shooter. Definitely aG strong shooters.
Nice. Oh my
you know,
God,
he's a fucking shooter. That's why I said the biggest thing. It's going to be, like, getting us all on the same page fast as fuck.
Craggy, you are madman.
Because I feel like we got to a good point
Three-manner.
when we were playing with Kyler, but I still think there were things that
was a massive
we weren't all 100% on.
Stack.
I know.
massive.
And now we basically have to restart that.
Three and stack.
I do think in the long run, it definitely, AG is definitely the more stable option. I think the biggest battle we have as a team, and I think it was very noticeable last year, is I think to get to a really good place for everybody, I feel like it took quite a long time last year. I kind of feel like that's still happening this year. I don't know what it is, but like getting everybody comfortable and making sure everybody knows what they need to do. I mean, I think that's something that the team has all agreed on too. Like we talked about some shit the other day.
These were some other comments from that stream that Typical Performer puts out that, you know, Pred's better in the long run. We saw that couple of clips saying that getting everyone on the same page was an issue, saying that currently the only team playing the way that they want to play is FaZe. That's pretty interesting, right? Because, of course, Thieves looked great at the major, and really it was only their search and destroy that let them down. But maybe there's a feeling that the gold standard right now of play is Atlanta FaZe, and they play them in just a couple of days' time on the Saturday. OpTic play FaZe, so that's going to be exciting. There was also this discussion on the comms, and Major One being very poor. Every player needs to improve in that aspect, and Kenny talked about this on stream the other day. Will Pred add to the comms? You know, I think so. I think Pred's comms are better than Huke's, sure. I think Pred's energy is more infectious to the team than Huke's is. There's other factors why I think Pred makes more sense for OpTic, and let's be honest, the reason why they dropped Huke for Pred in the first place going into last year and then won the World Championship with him. So their scrims yesterday were against Falcons and Boston, apparently. Karma said that he wanted tougher scrims. I think Boston are pretty good, and they do tend to fight OpTic well online. Playing Falcons, though, you know, maybe not optimal, but still, first scrim back, get a bit of confidence up or whatever. So those were their two scrims they played yesterday, and yeah, the plan was maybe just to stream them. I think Karma initially was like, we might be streaming them because someone had come into his chat and said, I think he commented on this on the Reddit maybe, someone came into his chat and said that, oh, JP, the other coach, said that you guys are going to be streaming them. And Karma said, oh, did he? Okay, maybe we are, type thing. So, because Karma didn't think that they were, and it turned out they didn't. Will they today? I don't know, who knows? Obviously, Pred, pretty jet lagged. Like, you're not expecting for the next couple of days the absolute best, highest quality practice, which is a bit of an issue when you are behind on practice already, and you know your practice quality probably isn't going to be the absolute best because of the circumstances. And you play FaZe in a couple of days, you know, it is going to be interesting. But of course, the big deal is going to be that Pred will be back on the main stage with OpTic Texas in Allen, Texas again. As we saw, right, okay, it's the same event arena, the Credit Union, a Texas event center, as we had the World Championship in the middle of last summer. So yeah, second major of the year, 20th to the 23rd of March. That is the plan. Pred's going to be there on the main stage. They're going to dish out the rings to the World Championship winning team. And who knows, historically, OpTic have done rather well at their home events, and maybe this is a story that is set to continue. There were some 8s going down last night as well. Thanks to Tracer pointing a couple of these screenshots out to me. This is from Kenny's POV. They were playing at, well, you know, 04 was getting involved here, Slasher Real, JoeDeceives. Couple of screenshots floating around. I know that Huke was playing in some of these as well and looked particularly good. Kenny wasn't having the best time ever, but yeah, it wasn't too bad, I guess. But very much enjoyed your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.